Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're all doing well and having a great week. Today I'm going to share with you a very simple eyeshadow tutorial using warm orange colors because fall will be here before we know it, and we will need these warm colors just to make us look warm and gorgeous, and I can't wait for fall. I really can't. I live in New England and fall is beautiful here, and we have the most beautiful foliage, so I'm really excited to share this with you. I will be using all Maskcara Beauty shades and one brush. This is the Eyeshadow Everything brush, also by Maskcara Beauty. If you don't know, I haven't shared eyeshadows here yet. All my makeup is in one compact. I have one deck. This is all my complexion colors, my contour, my lip and cheek, in my foundation and concealer. And then on the bottom deck, I have all my eyeshadow shades. We are going to use these shades here to create kind of like an ombre look, kind of, but very simple, very easy. You're not going to walk away from this feeling like you can't achieve the look. Whenever you order Maskcara Beauty shadows, you get a little bit of a guide. You get a card like this that tells you the type of techniques you can use to create an eyeshadow look. We are going to do one kind of like this. So this is really great because it helps that makeup beginner really kind of feel empowered and like they can do beautiful eyeshadow look. So we're just going to hurry up and get started already. So I've primed my eyes with my highlight color. I'll show you here. It's this shade here. It's called White Peach. It is a cream, so we're going to go ahead and set that. And I'm going to use some vanilla dust setting powder and a clean brush. And I'm just going to set that cream so my eyeshadows go on really smoothly. And then we'll get to work. So the first shade we're going to pick up is this shade called Leo. It's a beautiful orange shade and it's just gorgeous. And I'm going to use the dome end of my brush and pick up just a little, tapping off the excess, and we're going to carve out our crease. Now if you have a hooded eye, you're going to come a little bit higher than that, but I don't, so I'm going to kind of stay in the crease and above, and just be careful where you place down that brush because you're going to get yourself, that's going to be your strongest deposit of color. So make sure that you are putting it where you would like it. And these shades are very buildable, so as you can see, I did not put a ton of color there. If you want this dark, we're going to just go in and dip again. And I'm just using a kind of swirling motion here and then sweeping in. So I tell my customers, swirl, swirl, sweep, swirl, swirl, sweep, and it helps them remember the motion to blend their eyeshadow. And this brush is really great because it's double-ended, and I'm going to be able to complete the whole look with just this brush. And I'm just blending it so it's a nice smooth color. Working it a little bit up into the brow bone. See how it's kind of variegated almost. The darker deposit of color is here in the crease, and it softens as it reaches my brow bone. That's what we're looking for. Now that's not complicated. All that is blending and moving your brush upward. So we'll do the same on the other side, just picking it up on the dome end, tapping it off, and the same motion. Swirl, swirl, sweep. So you see I kind of placed my brush in a funny spot there. That's okay. We can just fix it. Nothing is not fixable. Okay, so once that's all blended, we're going to check, make sure both sides are even. This one looks slightly darker, so I'm just going to dip in again and make sure we're evening that out. when I started with eyeshadow, I was really like a one color on the lid kind of girl, and I never went outside the crease. I'm serious. And I used a little spongy applicator that it came with. You guys remember those, right? So I've really worked hard to learn easy ways to teach eyeshadow that you can feel like you can walk away from a video and you can actually do it. So that is all blended and looking good. So we're done with that. I'm actually going to switch brushes over to, sorry about that, the multitasker brush. This is a synthetic brush, and I like it for picking up foiled shadows and glitter shades because it is in fact a synthetic brush. So I'm going to use this flat end. It has a very tiny detail end that I love filling brows or doing lip line, nose contour. It's really great for that fine detail. It's really good for eyeliner as well. But we're going to be using it this end, which I use all the time for eyeshadow and putting on my lip color. And I'm going to use that in this here. This shade is called Ginger, and it's a foiled shade. It's not a glitter, but it does have a glitter to it. And I'm going to kind of pick it up on the flat end of this brush and place it on my lid, kind of going from not quite the inner corner. I'm going to put something else there, but I'm going to go here, kind of in the center. I may use my mirror just because it's hard to do in the camera. And it's just a really beautiful orangey shade, and I'm just obsessed with it for fall. And I'm just kind of working it down the lash line and really packing it on. I want to get a good amount of pigment on there. So pick up a little bit more, and it's really going to turn out beautifully. You want to make sure you get it down by that lash line, because otherwise you're going to have a gap there and it's going to look strange. Okay, grab it on the other side. Again, keeping that center here open, I'm going to put a different color there. Now I have my full face makeup on, and that was just for filming purposes, but in my everyday beauty routine I actually do eyeshadow prior to doing my complexion, because a little pro tip is you can clean up any eyeshadow fallout, or if you come too low or anything, you can actually clean it up with your highlight. So that's kind of a fun tip for you. It's kind of neat having the compact here, so you're able to kind of use the mirror and to get at your shades. Another bonus of using this line of makeup. It's what saves my butt all the time. Just picking up a tiny bit more. I want to make sure that's nice and pigmented. And then we'll go in and blend all that in. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of blend that ginger right into our Leo. Now we're going to do our inner corner. I'm going to switch to the kind of pointier end and go into this shade here. This color is called Crush, and it's glittery, kind of a shimmer, but it's a very light orange color. So see how we're getting that ombre variegated look. We're going light to dark. And I'm just placing it on that inner corner. And again, switching to the fluffy end of the brush, all I did was flip the brush. Makes it very easy. And blending that in. Now, the last shade we're going to grab is Philly. It's a dark brown. And we're going to, again, use the smudgy end of the brush, and we're going to do that outer corner. Now here's a tip for the outer corner. This is probably where I struggled the most with doing eyeshadow, was placing this outer corner color that we really want to create dimension and depth to our eye, but it always kind of looked too dark and I went too high, or I did some goodness gracious, some weird wonky things. So really what I'm going to do is just tap my brush in. And when you're doing eyeshadow, I always recommend keeping your eye open, especially if you have a hooded eye, because you don't know where you're placing your colors if your eye is closed. If I'm doing this and I have a hooded eye and I put everything in the crease and then I open it, the work is not going to be seen. It's going to be hidden. So keep your eye open as much as you can so you can see where you're placing your colors. But we're going to tap into that filly and then just kind of tap. I find tapping the darker colors on the outer corner does two things. One, it keeps the pigment controllable. And two, it allows you some control over placement. So we're building our color. I don't want it too dark. And I'm going to kind of pull it in the crease a tiny bit. See how I'm just getting it on that outer corner. Then we'll flip our brush again and softly blend, like so softly. You're not going to want to undo your work here and overblend it. So even those soft flicking motions versus like the swirling and the sweeping is going to help you. And I'm going to deepen that just a bit. To make sure it's dark enough. And I'm going to use my mirror just a bit. And then just blend. That's all it is. Eyeshadow is three things: colors, placement, and blending. That is what I've learned, and that is what I'm teaching you. So you're going to pick colors that complement each other. You're going to place them in the right spot, and then you're just going to blend them together so everything is seamlessly running into each other instead of like stark lines of shades. You do not want that. So we're pulling this together here, and then we'll do the underside of our eye, the lash line, which is, I think, the most important part sometimes of a good kind of smokier eye, is that halo that we're going to pull. Okay. And sometimes I think what's beneficial to kind of getting these blended out is grabbing that transition color, that color that we began with, that Leo. That can be helpful in evening everything out. So just picking up a tiny bit of that Leo. Tapping off the excess really well. I'll even maybe tap it on my hand a little. And just softly kind of come back in at the crease to bring everything together. It looks beautiful. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a final color. It's a matte white cream color. It's called Cupcake. I use it to soften all my edges every day. I've had it for quite a while, and I'm not just barely seeing the bottom of my pan. So these shades last a really long time. And I'm just adding that to my brow bone, and it will highlight my brow bone and clean up and soften my edges. So now we'll do the under lash line. We're going to do two things with it. We're going to take that Leo underneath and that filly as well. So we're going to start with Leo. A little pro tip for you. So if you have a brush that has this smudgier end here and you struggle getting that line where it needs to be, so if you're putting it there and it's coming down too low and you're getting that punch in the eye effect, take your brush, put your finger there and flatten it out. So it makes like a line, okay? Take a tiny bit of product, just a little, you really don't need much. And take it under your lash line and it makes the perfect eyeliner. Now for this, I don't go any further than the center of my eye. I'm really sticking to that outer corner. Look how exact that gets it. So that's a really good tip for you if you struggle doing that. Do the same thing on the side, barely touching the pan, coming up to that outer corner here and pulling it just to the center. You can always take your fluffy end and kind of soften that if it feels too stark for you. And then we could stop there. And with just that orange is going to carry what's here and bring it down here, and it's going to look really pretty. It looks great. But we're going to take it a step further. And I'm going to take that brown filly again, doing the same technique, and just pulling it under my eye. Now, if you weren't going to do that technique, say you're an old pro, just use the brush very lightly, going right over that Leo. And that's it. So we'll add lashes and mascara, and then we'll be good to go. Not lashes, I'm not going to do lashes, but mascara tonight and liner. I'm just using a black pencil liner. This one's a drugstore brand, LA Girl, and I'm just going to tight line that in. Now, when you're doing eyeliner, and I'm sure so many of you have done it, and you draw that line at your lash line, and then it's not perfect, so you go in a little darker, and before you know it, your liner on the top of your lid is really high and your eye looks smaller. To avoid that, you can actually tight line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil, and I'll see if I can pull my eye without undoing my work, is I'm going to run it on my waterline. And it's really uncomfortable to do at first. You're going to hate it. But I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference. And if you're not careful, you end up doing that. But it's kind of hard to do in the camera. And you're just going to finish the look by filling in that lash line. As we get older, we lose lashes, and we have more gaps in them, and that can create an unfinished look. So by tight lining your liner on your waterline, you're filling in the lash line, and it just gives a really natural, beautiful finish to your look. So you can see here it looks far more defined. I'm doing the same on this side. And a little bit more over here. Okay. Then we'll do mascara. I've been using Lash Extend by L'Oreal. It's got like a primer in it. And then the actual mascara, and I like it a lot. It's been very effective. Can you all hear my dog snoring? I film at night. Everyone's sleeping. Okay, so